It's the least true rumor about you.
They're all true.
A new editor storms into Vogue and flips the table. Staff are cut. Rules are cut. A model in faded jeans lands on the cover, and the fashion gate swings open. In a few years, nameless faces become stars with $10,000 day rates. Designers move shows to catch her eye. Whole fashion weeks squeeze into a 3-day window. When a designer is broke, she finds the money, the venue, the models, and the show goes on. That is not editing. That is command. This is the story of Anna Wintour, the woman behind the bob and the sunglasses, turning a magazine into a control room. She chooses the faces, builds the story, and sets the clock the industry follows. Covers become coronations. Front rows become boardrooms. A raised eyebrow can chill a season. A single nod can start a career. If fashion is a stage, she runs the lights, the music, and the timing. See how one woman took charge of the supermodel era and why her playbook still rules today. Power looks quiet. The results shake every runway and cover today. In 1988, fashion magazines played it safe. They documented what designers made, shot models in quiet studios, and kept opinions soft. Grace Mirabella had steered Vogue this way for 17 years. Covers showed full looks from a single house, posed and formal. Models were seldom named on the cover. You might know a face if you studied the field, yet most readers could not name them. They arrived, wore the clothes, took the fee, and moved on. Anna Wintour had already made a significant impact at British Vogue from 1985 to 1987. Colleagues called her Nuclear Wintour. She entered a masthead, removed the old guard, and rebuilt fast. When Condé Nast moved to replace Mirabella, S.I. Newhouse knew who could reset the American title. Editors once curated, observed, and styled. July 1988 brought a different figure. Wintour did not want to watch fashion from a distance. She intended to run it. Her path had prepared her for that stance. Her father, Charles Wintour, edited London's Evening Standard. As a teen, she provided him with blunt notes on how to reach younger readers. She left a fashion course early. She wanted to shape how the world sees clothes, not design them. By 1975, she was in New York at Harper's Bazaar. She moved through Viva and New York Magazine, known for sharp instincts and sharper elbows. There is a story from before she led American Vogue. Grace Mirabella asked what role she wanted. Wintour said, "Yours." The answer reads less like ambition than certainty. In 1983, Condé Nast brought her in as Vogue's first creative director, raising her pay after a bidding war. After British Vogue proved she could overhaul a book end to end, the only next step was the American throne of fashion media. July 1988. Day 1. Wintour lets people go. She brings in new photographers, stylists, and editors. The message is clear. The old way is over. One publisher watching those first weeks put it plainly. She is not accessible to people she does not need to be accessible to. Those who stayed learned that access flowed through the work, not through small talk. It was calculation, not frost. Every meeting, every call, every change served a purpose in the plan. She was building power. Few yet saw the scale. What looked like coldness was focus. What looked abrupt was a timetable. The job description shifted the minute she sat down. The editor would not trail the parade. She would set the route. People inside Condé Nast felt the jolt. Assistants who had coasted found new expectations. Shoots that once copied house press kits were rebuilt from scratch. Freelancers who were unable to adjust stopped receiving calls. Wintour moved with speed, and the staff learned that momentum was now part of the job. The point was never cruelty. It was standards. The industry had long believed editors could influence taste. In the summer of 1988, it met an editor who intended to control the levers that shape taste: casting, photography, styling, scheduling, and narrative. That distinction explains everything that follows. November 1988. A new Vogue hits newsstands. The industry freezes. The cover shows Michaela Berku, shot outdoors, laughing, in a Christian Lacroix haute couture jacket with a beaded cross and stone-washed Guess jeans. The printers even called to ask if the cover image was a mistake. Jeans on a Vogue cover felt impossible. It was no mistake. It was a line in the sand. Wintour spent 4 months setting the moment. She could have eased in and earned trust. Instead, she chose shock. The cover told designers, models, photographers, advertisers, and readers that Vogue's old rules no longer applied. High-low mixing drew headlines, yet the deeper move was power. By winning with something so bold, Wintour showed that her eye could outrank tradition and corporate nerves. If jeans could anchor a Vogue cover and the sky did not fall, then anything was possible. Reaction split fast. Old guard editors called it vulgar. Younger readers bought in numbers the magazine had not seen in years. Advertisers watched sales and adjusted. Designers took note. If Vogue was moving this hard, they needed to stay close. Inside, change ran deeper. Models were shot laughing, jumping, and in motion. They appeared on the streets, in parks, at parties. Layouts felt cinematic. Energy replaced hush. Photographers were encouraged to capture movement and tell a story rather than capture stillness. Stylists mixed price points and textures. The mood switched from museum hush to city pace. Vogue also expanded its scope to encompass health, politics, and culture. Fashion stayed central, yet the pages now lived in the real world. Tone shifted from whisper to clear voice. It became a magazine for women with busy work lives and views. Editors pitched more complex stories. Features met readers where they lived, not at a salon. The jeans were a test. The industry chose shock. Wintour chose resolve. She was about to change who a model could be. The cover proved the audience would follow if the image was strong and the voice sure. That shift showed up in ad pages. Brands that once bought prime placements started pitching campaigns with movement and street settings. Photographers who could tell a story thrived. The magazine's visual language underwent a significant change in a single season, and readers could sense it without a caption to confirm it. September 1989. Wintour presents her September cover. It is Naomi Campbell. S.I. Newhouse raises a brow. You are going to put an African-American model on the September cover of American Vogue? The September issue is the year's anchor. No black model had held that cover alone. Wintour's view was simple. Naomi is the model of the moment. The image is great. She ran it. Naomi, in a fire-orange sequined suit on a beach, became a star on a new scale. The choice said Vogue would decide who mattered and would back that call. Naomi later learned Wintour had fought for that image at board level. She thanked her for it. The signal spread. Under Wintour, status could reach any woman who owned the moment. Next came a small line that became legend. October 1990. Linda Evangelista jokes in Vogue, talking about herself and Christy Turlington. We don't wake up for less than $10,000 a day. The quote races around the world. Outrage follows. Sales follow. Wintour leaves the line in. Myth grows. April 1992 marks Vogue's 100th year. Wintour puts 10 supermodels on one cover. White shirts, jeans. Patrick Demarchelier shoots them as equals. Naomi, Linda, Christy, Cindy Crawford, Claudia Schiffer, Tajana Patitz, and more. The message: the women are the event. Inside, Stephen Meisel, Mario Testino, and other renowned photographers shoot lengthy, high-budget stories. The models are presented like movie stars. They are given arcs, voices, and frames you can remember. Editorials sketch roles: Linda the shapeshifter, Christy the classic line, Cindy the American force, Claudia the blonde ideal, Naomi the runway blaze. Readers attach to people, not just clothes. Vogue profiles deepen that link. The magazine covers friendships, work habits, and aims. The women become characters with agency. That change affects fees, contracts, and casting across the field. A name sells a page. A name moves product. The effect feeds back into newsstands. A Christy cover lifts numbers. A Cindy special flies faster. Naomi drives talk. As those data points stack, the business case for stardom hardens. Wintour builds a machine where model fame and magazine success amplify each other. The supermodel is born in print and pays off at the register. Fees rose with that visibility. Contracts lengthened. Big brand deals centered on names, not anonymous faces, globally. Agencies pitched personality as an asset. A model could sell a cover on her own. That fact affected every negotiation that crossed a Vogue editor's desk. 1994. John Galliano is brilliant and broke. He cannot afford a show. Whispers say he is done. Anna Wintour calls. She does not write a lament. She moves. She finds backers. She asks Sound Schlumberger to fund. She has Andre Leon Talley help marshal details. She aligns press and buyers to be in the room. Models were the next hurdle. The best are expensive. Wintour, working with Andre Leon Talley, reached out to Kate Moss, Christy Turlington, and Naomi Campbell. She asks them to walk for free. They agree. She explains that the future is on that runway. Reports also note Linda Evangelista among the supers who joined without pay, showing how fully her circle rallied when Anna called. Galliano staged his fall 1994 show inside Sound Schlumberger's Hotel Particulier in Paris. Bias-cut gowns swept through the rooms. Linda opened the runway. Kate and Naomi followed. Christy closed. The crowd erupted. Galliano is back. By early 1995, LVMH hired him at Givenchy. In 1996, he moved to Christian Dior. A career turns because Wintour decided it should turn. She later calls that night her favorite show. It fits. She produced it. Marc Jacobs learned a related lesson after his 1992 grunge collection at Perry Ellis cost him his job. The establishment balked. Wintour kept him in the pages and in rooms that mattered. She gave him cultural cover while he rebuilt. By 1997, he was the creative director at Louis Vuitton. He credited her for the support in the hard years. Designers read the message: win Anna's support, and doors open. Lose it, and the path steepens. Her very presence at a show sends a signal. Absence sends another. A glance at her notebook can unsettle a studio. A nod can steady it. Music changes, hemlines shift, and walk orders move when she frowns. The models remain central to this chessboard. When Wintour favors a designer, her core women walk. When she does not, calendars can shift. A Galliano cast with Naomi, Kate, and Linda is an event. The same clothes without them might vanish by next season. Designers watch her seat as closely as they watch their hems. The board is the same. Her moves decide the game. What looks like taste is also logistics. Backers take calls when Vogue is involved. Venues open. A last-minute casting switch becomes possible because a call sheet carries names people cannot refuse. The work is art on the runway and operations underneath. And Wintour was fluent in both layers. Milan, 2010. Wintour says she will attend only 3 days of Fashion Week and then fly to the Oscars. The city scrambles. Dolce & Gabbana rescheduled. Versace shifts. Smaller labels compress. The schedule bends into her 3-day window. Mario Boselli, head of Italy's fashion chamber, fumes in public, calling it absolutely crazy. Prada and Armani adjust their slots to fit the timetable. The week revolves around her seat. The point is stark. Even defiance or anger revolves around her. Attendance equals heat. Absence cools a season. Buyers watch her seat. Editors track her notes. Photographers learn which shows matter by her timetable. A 5-minute early exit can chill a review and shake orders. A full sit-through can lift a new name into stores and press. Music choices, lengths, and casting adjust in real time if her face reads bored. Control extends beyond runways. Since 1995, Wintour has overseen the Met Gala, shaping the guest list, themes, and seating, turning a museum benefit into the industry's most controlled night. She approves guests, themes, seating, and brand pairings. The supermodels of the 1990s remain in that inner circle as honored figures. The event crowns the most relevant individuals each year and unites designers, celebrities, and media under one calendar. By the mid-90s and beyond, New York, London, Milan, and Paris learn a quiet rule: do not clash with Anna's schedule. A conflict risks empty chairs and thin coverage. Align and you gain attention that money cannot buy. The invisible grid of her diary runs beneath every official calendar. What once looked like 4 separate weeks is one circuit with a single metronome. A shifted slot does more than change a start time. It alters the press cycle that follows. Reviews file earlier or later. Retail buys move up or stall. Factory deadlines nudge. When one person can compress a week, The ripple runs from a headline in Milan to a sewing floor far from any runway. 1995. The mix on Vogue covers changes. Hollywood and music faces rise. Sales data leads the way. Celebrity issues outperform model issues, even with the most famous women of the runway. Wintour adjusts quickly. Linda Evangelista appears less. Christy Turlington shifts toward other work. Claudia Schiffer remains a European favorite. Cindy Crawford leans into television and business. Naomi Campbell maintains a high profile, yet she can sense the current shift towards film and pop stars. There were public frictions in later years, sharp reminders that her choices could bruise egos at the highest level. This is calculation, not betrayal. Wintour built the supermodel peak when it served Vogue. When the market favored actors and singers, she moved there. The same steel that raised the models now redeploys to new subjects. The women she lifted had the fame and resources to pivot into other lanes. Some launched brands, some wrote books, some did television. All carried the echo of that first peak into their next acts. By 2000, the shift is complete. Covers are led by actresses and musicians. Models still work the runways and campaigns, yet the center of cover culture has moved. The age of the model as the lead celebrity winds down. The system that once crowned models now crowns cross-platform stars. It is a clean turn, driven by sales, reinforced by culture, executed without pause. Some in the original group stepped back on their own terms. Others tried to chase the old spotlight, only to find that it had shifted to red carpets and talk shows. The hierarchy had changed. The women were still famous, yet the cover economy had a new logic, and Wintour followed that logic with her usual speed. 2025. Anna Wintour holds global roles at Condé Nast after decades at Vogue. The models she helped create are in their 50s, revered as legends at shows, reunite for documentaries, and maintain selective careers. The architecture she built still frames the fashion world. Her remit reaches beyond one title. Decisions from her office ripple across editions. The aim is coherence, carried by editors who came up under her and share a language of image, access, and timing. The CFDA/Vogue Fashion Fund provides financial support and mentorship to emerging designers. The prize brings capital in her network. The Galliano Playbook has evolved into a formal program with established judges, grants, and guidance. Winners do not just gain a check, they gain access. Protégés hold power posts across the field. Former assistants edit major titles. Photographers she backed shape the visual language of ads and magazines. Designers she supported run or have run large houses. Threads of influence reach into every corner. A call from her office still changes a week. Young models still dream of a Vogue cover, though most covers now show celebrities. Designers still court her view, even in a social media era. The algorithm can lift a post. Wintour's nod can build a career. One operates in hours, the other endures for years. When Naomi, Linda, Christy, Cindy, and Claudia reunite for a recent project, Wintour appears and supports it. She praises her girls and the years they defined. The subtext needs no voiceover. She built that era. She also knew when to pivot from it. Both thoughts can be true at once. Today's talent often rises on TikTok and Instagram. Some make more from posts than from runway fees. Yet they operate within a system where personality and reach sell clothes, where an editor's validation still confers a crown, and where a gala can set the tone for a season. That system took shape under Wintour. Her reach remains a case study for young editors. How do you turn models into stars? How do you shape a calendar? How do you move resources across the field at speed? The answers sit in choices made from 1988 onward. You can copy tactics. Matching the will is harder. The empire is not an office. It is a network reinforced by habit, money, and attention. The tools at hand have changed: metrics, platforms, formats, but the center of gravity is intact. When she backs a theme, designers answer it on runways and red carpets. When she cools on an idea, it fades from decks and mood boards. The job title is editor. The work is coordination at scale. Anna Wintour did more than show clothes. She turned models into cultural currency and made an editor's desk the control room of fashion. Before her, magazines watched. After her, they steered. The supermodel years proved the method. Choose your stars, build their stories, back the right designers, and set the calendar. Covers became coronations. A seat in the front row became a signal. One decision from her office could move money, talent, and time. Those tools still work. Commissioning acts like capital, casting sets policy. Placement shapes careers. The names cycle. Runway icons, celebrities, influencers, but the frame holds. That is the legacy. She built a system that focuses attention and keeps it. The cast changes. The rules she wrote remain. Fashion still runs on her playbook, and the gate she forged still decides who steps into the light.